Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. Time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. Let's finish off the trio of HHA scenarios, just so we can say we got them done, which is what I've basically been doing them for. And we're going to return to the East Coast main line. We're going to travel from Northallerton to York. Reading the information, drive Freightliner 66559 on the loaded Redcar to Drax Power Station, coal train, with a rake of HHA hoppers between Northallerton and York. We are in the year 2007. We're starting at 11:35 in the morning, so it should be nice, bright, and clear according to the weather forecast outside. So let's go ahead and get into this. I do see the 101 scenarios in front of me. We are going to get to the 101s at some point as well, so don't worry about that. But that's a different problem for a different day. Let's get started on this scenario for today. Well, those look a lot better now, don't they? We have the labels on them now. So let's go ahead and get these now newly labeled HHA cars to their destination by hopping in the cab. We have no timetable, it looks like. And actually, is this the only thing I have to do? There's only one thing we have to do. Go by York, up Avoider. Okay, we're stopping there, and that's it. 30 miles from here. Interesting. That's the only job of the day. Seems very simple. Something's going on with that. I'm pretty sure something's up if it's that simple. There must be something going on up ahead. We'll find out when we get going. We have our green signal, so we are safe to proceed. This is supposedly a 50-minute drive, and it looks like we're starting on the line. I'm going to back out here. As we watch our train go by, I'm going to just go back to the end of it to see where we are. I think we're on the Middlesbrough extension heading off the map. So if I keep heading back here, here's our cars. And sure enough, I see what looks like a buffer for the end of the siding, which I recognize the area because I've explored here before. But if we keep right on going, the end of the route is right over here. There's nothing beyond this point. So we are on, and I'll bring it up on the map, we are on the extension to the Middlesbrough area right there. Heading off towards, looks like, I can't read that, Parm? It's not Parm, is it? Is that how you say it? No, Yarm. Sorry, I can't read behind the portal. Yarm. Yarm is the next station, but that is where you go to Middlesbrough. So that's where we are. We're taking the little extension to get back onto the main line. There is a path heading in this direction. I think this is the path that we're seeing going to the left. I think is the one coming from the... well, that might be the line heading north. Let's check on the map here. That might be the line going north. Yeah, this line... Oh, no, this line goes towards the... yeah, that's the line for trains coming off. That's actually the line for the trains coming off. That was my second guess. That's the line for the trains coming off here. There is no line going to the other direction towards Darlington because you can get there a different way if you instead of coming this way. So this is... The other line is the one for trains coming in. This is the one for trains coming out. I'm not sure... I think it might be a fast line, slow line thing, actually. That could also be it. Or... No, you know what? No, I think the two fast lines have one set of track. The two up lines have one side, two down lines. I'll figure this out. I think the direction is one way for the two tracks on each set of tracks is basically what I'm trying to get at. I've never taken this set of tracks before, so I couldn't tell you. I just think these are both tracks meant to go in the same direction. We will not see any train coming on the right track in this case. So it's a fast and slow track type of thing. And sure enough, I see... Actually, no, I guess one does go the other way. I see a signal over there. So maybe one set is for fast, one set is for slow. I don't know. I don't care. I'll figure it out sometime. Anyway, here is a crossing. We are at a 25 speed limit, by the way, so we're going to stay within that crossing for the time being. Or that limit, I should say. So I'm cutting some of my throttle back just a wee bit here to try to see where I keep gaining speed and where I lose speed. We are coming to an uphill, so I have to maintain some power for that uphill segment coming ahead. So I'm holding at 25, well 24 and a half rather, for the time being. We'll see what happens in a moment. Another crossing. Ah, one of those is for the north track, going the other way. I guess they do go the other way in case there's a track closure. That might make sense. Let me see. Oh, no, one is the... Okay, these are both the slow lines. So the other two are the fast lines. These two are the slow lines. So there's a fast entrance exit, and then you just keep going on the other line for the slow. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. And our first companion train of the day is coming along. There he is. Who is that? That is the Edinburgh to King's Cross service. The 9:30 service. No head code, just the service. Since we are going onto the slow track, I don't think we're going to be held up for that service. We're going to be staying on the slow track the whole way while the fast trains go on the fast track. And they'll be passing us by the whole time. I'm sure Richard and the team at Armstrong Powerhouse have given us a lot of trains to watch going by on the fast tracks. I'm sure that's the case. So we'll see what they've put on the track today. Another train over there. That is the that's a slow train, 4G15 to Redcar. It looks like, and that is over in one of the slow lanes. We've lost a lot of speed, by the way, on this uphill. I've been too busy watching the trains. I didn't manage my own speed. So let's go ahead and throw this back to 100% throttle and get ourselves corking up to speed here. Now, the thing I don't know about is what path that other train is going to be going on. It looks like... oh, no, he's taking the path over to where we were. It looks like he's taking the path where we just were. So he's going that direction. He's heading off towards the Middlesbrough area. There you go. Heading to Redcar. Goes up that track. Interesting. There's our green signal as we now join the slow track. Now, I was looking at this route in the scenario editor before, and I did notice that there are waypoints all along each track. So you have a waypoint after each set of junctions somewhere to indicate which track you're going on. You have to keep clicking on the waypoints ahead of that track, otherwise the game will randomly throw you on whatever track it feels it wants to. You can end up with a fast train on a slow track, or vice versa if you're not careful. Sometimes the game might try and put you on a fast track just because it wants to. So you have to actually indicate to make sure you stay on the correct track and you don't get moved around in weird ways. You have to actually, in the scenario editor, click ahead on that track all the way. This applies even to tracks going in opposite directions, where you have two tracks, one for each direction. You have to basically click the track you want to be on the whole way along and set hidden waypoints along the way. Otherwise, the game might wrong way you at some point, and it could really screw up with your idea of doing the scenario the way you're supposed to. Especially if you're in an American route or a German route where you have to be on the right, but the game might be trying to force you over to the left. That's not what you want to do. So you have to click on the waypoints along the way, make sure you stay on the track you want to stay on. And with 4 tracks instead of 2, that is most definitely the case as you move along. This could be a good idea for AI trains as well when you set up an AI train. That way when you have a train that you want to go by you, it doesn't end up being forced to wait for you instead. A scenario I still intend to bring you on Cahoon Pass using the Santa Fe train. One that I've lifted from an old scenario pack that it no longer is available. I've tried it using newer stock, and I found out that the train was being sent down the wrong track on that one. So I have to do a similar thing with that one. I have to tell the system what track I want my train to be on, and it turns out that a train for some reason was not getting out of my way when I wanted it to, and I was being forced down the wrong track. So you have to be really, really specific with where your train goes. There's another one on the Class 08 pack. I took a look at one of those scenarios, and I do intend to bring you this one as well. I think I talked about it last time back on West Coast Mainline. There's actually one situation where the train gets put into a platform and then reversed for some reason in the wrong direction, and it causes an AI collision. That one made me laugh when I found it. No wonder it doesn't work anymore. The game is programmed to work differently with that setup of that train. So yeah, that some scenarios have gotten broken, unfortunately, over time because of changes to things like the dispatcher. And when it's an old scenario like this, the only thing I can do is give it a test play, see if it works. If so, great, I got a video. If it doesn't work, then I figure out how to fix it, I show you how to fix it, and then I play it, and if it works, I got a video. If I can't get it fixed, then basically I come back onto the video and say I can't get that scenario working. If anyone knows how, please. But worst case scenario, I can just delete a train. That's the least thing I can do. That's my method of last resort. Which begs the question, why did I delete the train on Pullman Hop if that's my method of last resort? Trust me, it was my last option. That train was never going to move. This happened to me on Mariah's Pass as well. I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen in this scenario that we have a 50-minute scenario, Northallerton to York. Maybe that's just how long it takes in the slow line. I'm used to traveling in the fast lane on this track. Hello. That was a train to Edinburgh. I can't tell you much more about it. Looks like it was a Virgin. Of course, if you own the train package that's in, you can continue to use that train. If you don't own it, well, in that case, I think it's a Just Trains model. It's a really, really old package, so I'm assuming that one was, the way the contract was done, that probably is not a problem having it still in there. And honestly, I wish, and I'm not going to speak for anyone in a position where I don't know what they do. But I kind of wish that when the contracts were done with DTG and RSC, that a clause was added that if a product was already produced, it was free and clear of any license restrictions. It could continue to be done. It could continue to be sold. But any new products would not be able to be sold. This is why the whole BNSF thing was kind of curious, because there was some BNSF stuff inside the U.S. Loco and Asset Pack. I didn't get that label up in time. There was some stuff in the U.S. Loco and Asset Pack. So that was still in there, even with the BNSF embargo going on. So the fact that we were still able to acquire that outside the U.S. is actually kind of funny, because it kind of was like you're going against your own embargo here by having that available. But it's unfortunate that when the license lifted, they didn't have a clause in there. Maybe this is a backwards thing they would do it today, I don't know. But it's too bad there wasn't a clause in there saying, if we've put money into this product and we produce this product, we're keeping this product on the store even if the license goes away. Like it was made under the license agreement, and it stays under that license agreement because it's already done. Taking it off the store means we then have to lose even more money. It's too bad that, and maybe that was attempted, maybe it wasn't possible, but it's too bad that did not happen to be the case with a lot of the licensed products. Like the biggest one that really hurt, I think, was the Welsh Marshes. 4 months after it came out, it went into discontinued mode for a little while. It did come out later with with everything unbranded. Even the EWS was unbranded, which was kind of funny. But the only thing that remained branded was the actual Bossman Games version of a train. I think it was a Class 47 or something like that. Everything else, the branding was removed, even the EWS. So when I go to Welsh Marshes, you're going to see that everything's unbranded. Unless I go to the branded version of the route, which I can do because I own the brand version of the route. I can play the brandings on that route, and that's fine. And you'll still see everything just fine on that one. Labels and everything, Arriva, whatever. you'll still see all that just fine. So I'll have to make sure I'm playing the branded version when I get to it. Hopefully I actually have the correct version for the branded version. I don't know which is which because it seemed to have the same name, so hopefully I have the right one when I go to play it. But I have noticed that the manual was updated. I managed to pull the manual off with the branding show in the manual, but the manual now, of course, doesn't have the branding in it, and I can't get that manual back on the online version. So maybe they did replace the scenarios, and I just don't know. That would be a shame if I've lost my branding, because I could have saved 34 bucks Canadian on that and bought it later at a better sale price if I'd known they were going to take the branding away. But I think we do get to keep the branding. It's just my understanding. I think we get to keep the branding. At the time, that was the most I'd ever paid for a route, and that was even on sale price. That was 3 months into my game. Oh, I didn't even notice a new speed limit. Whoopsie. Well, let's watch the... Well, that is what you call an oopsie. I did not realize we were coming into a 30. I was just chatting about branding and things like that. Didn't even know we were in a 30. Why were we in a 30? Why is this track a 30? I have no idea why this track is a 30. I have to drop it by a few more miles just in case we get punched forward. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. Nope. I could have stayed where I was. Okay. Back up. Oh, we're on the Thirsk approach. Okay. So approaching Thirsk, you have a 30 mile per hour speed limit. I did not know that. Well, I'll keep that in mind for next time. Now I know that. That was the first time I've approached Thirsk. Let's take a moment to turn on the computer just because I can. And let's bring up the running totals. Show running totals, yes. So we're in 2007 right now. This train has been alive for 69,578 hours. Good to know. Okay, we're going to start working our speed back up to 75 miles per hour. We were, of course, nowhere close. But I did not realize when we were going up to 57 miles per hour that we had crossed into a 30. Because I'm not familiar with that 30. I think that one's going to get me tea and biscuits back at the headquarters. Back at the yard. What's really interesting is that this route is apparently old enough that a speed drop from 75 to 30 did not get an AWS ramp, which is extremely unfortunate. I do remember I was having some discussion about merged routes, though, in the last during the last scenario, and I actually have a couple more that I didn't mention at the time. One came to mind, but I didn't mention it. Goblin Lines, which incorporates the North London line. So I can take all the North London line scenarios, put them on the Goblin Lines. Speaking of Shrewsbury, there's a route with both that and South Wales Coastal on it. which, by the way, would also accommodate all of these scenarios from all three South Wales coastal and mainline routes. So they would all work on that merged route as well. So I could literally take the merged route for South Wales coastal and Welsh marshes, which would use the branded versions in both cases, or the unbranded, whichever one I have. In my case, I have both in each case, so I'll choose the branded one. And I'd be able to run all of the scenarios on the branded version of the merged route for Swansea all the way to Shrewsbury if I want to, or whatever I choose to do. So now, when I go back to South Wales Coastal and start doing workshop scenarios, I might actually download the merged route so I can show it off with the merged route. What I'm thinking about, lots of trains again. There's two that just went by at the same time. I also did find a project for Glasgow Central to Ayr, one of the routes that I've been eager to get my hands on and try out, and I think the route to Ayr has been completed. Some of the branch lines are not completed yet, but I might have to come back and show that one off. I'm kind of trying to wait it out until more of it is completed, but I may have to come back and show off the current version of that at some point, because that is looking like a very interesting project, and it's a route that I did propose for Train Sim World 2, or Train Sim World 3, or whatever comes out after that, because we don't know if there's going to be another version. We're coming to the summer again. So whatever is... what I mean to say is I'm suggesting for Train Sim World, whatever version it is. So I think that would be a fun little one to do, because there's a lot of different route options. You got the Paisley Riverside, you got St. John's Street, or John Street, whatever it's called. You got the Paisley Gilmore Street, so you have the three different stations right there on three different routes, and some branch lines, including a couple more past Gilmore Street on the way to Ayr. So there's lots of routing possibilities. Whether they would be able to do the whole route and all the stations involved, I don't know, but that would be a fun little route to have in Train Sim World. I think that would be a great option if we can get that all working. The problem, of course, is that when they did the Glasgow looping line, as I call it, the one that actually included Neilston and Newton, they didn't include much. Also, the West Coast Main Line. They could have gone a little further to Motherwell, which I think would have been a good call. They could have included at least the part to Paisley Gilmore Street for the sake of it, but they kept it to just that very, very short route. And I don't know how well that route sold in comparison to other routes, because it was a very, very small route. I waited for a big sale to get it myself, because I didn't think it was worth it for such a small amount of track. But at some point I will play it, and we'll see if I change my mind. I may change my mind after I play it. Will I regret not paying more? Nah. Is it getting rainy? I see clouds. Let's just poke our head outside and look around here. Ooh. Don't know. That looks like a cross-country train. I just realized with the Steam sale going on, I need to actually look at Euro Truck Simulator and American Truck Simulator again to see if DLC have gone down to a lower price. They did recently raise the prices of all their DLC on that game. I have been looking at Iberia, but they haven't really put last I checked, they haven't really put a good discount on it yet. And that's the last DLC I can get right now for Euro Truck Sim 2. I think it hasn't gotten the best discounts because it's still the last DLC. They had to cancel their Russia DLC, unfortunately, indefinitely. But hopefully that eventually makes an appearance when the situation up there calms down and everyone's friendly again. We will see. I think I'm missing 3 states in American Truck Simulator as well. It'd be a fun little diversion driving a truck around. It's about as the same as driving one of these things around, except it's a much smaller scale world. So you're driving like in a 19:1 map instead of a 1:1 environment like we are on. So they can trim out a lot of streets and showcase certain parts of cities. So your trip through Los Angeles, California might be just a few main roads, then you're back on the highway, whereas in real life you're there for a good couple hours driving through. Getting every red light, I should add. Like any good city. Ah, it's gotten clear again. And it got dark again. Darn it. Well, that's what you call unrealistic lighting effects. We must have gone through a dome section or something. Fighting our way up to 60 miles per hour. After that unfortunate speeding penalty at Thirsk. We should not have any more of those until we start approaching the yards, so we should be avoiding any speeding penalties at that point. More cloud modifications up ahead. Oh, it just cleared again. And it got cloudy again. Okay, yeah, we're having some weird dome lighting effects as we move along the track here. Not realistic at all. Unless you're in Florida, maybe. I don't know. It might be realistic in Florida. It rains every day at 4 p.m. down there. At least that's my memory of it when I was down there during the summer. Then outside the summer is normal weather. I'm not going to hold out hope as we pass another train. Sounds like the engine turning itself down there. So that's the normal thing, it seems. I think after you go for a while, the engine sound needs to, like, it's like a continual engine sound that that has to loop itself, and it runs out eventually of length on the recordings. So it turns itself down, then it turns itself back up at some point, which is kind of funny. But we're still gaining speed. It's up to 63 miles per hour even with that happening. We're under 8.5 miles to go to the York Avoider. We're going to have some speed limit drops, I'm pretty sure, along the way, probably to 50, 30, and 15, I'm guessing. Let's figure out where York Avoider actually is. If we look at our path up ahead, I might not be able to pick the... No, I'm not going to be able to. No, there's only one task, so I can't move between them. That's unfortunate. York Avoider is basically right here, and that avoids York Station, hence why it's called the York Avoider. There's actually a train nowadays that actually takes you along these tracks, one passenger train each day, I think maybe two, with a new, I think it's Lumo, the service that does it, or something like that. They actually take you along these tracks avoiding York Station, so you just head straight down into here. Of course, we can't simulate that service properly because we can't go beyond here unless we merge two routes together, and I don't think that can be done. Scarborough, by the way, is up here. But knowing where the where York Avoider is, it looks like we're going to be staying on the main line all the way as we go through the yard, so we're going to be staying in the main line area the whole way, which is interesting. So maybe we won't get those slowdowns. I'm pretty sure it slows down as you go to the yard, and there might be a track or two we have to cross at junctions, but other than that, I don't think it's too bad. I guess we'll find out. At the mile a minute speeds we're working on here, we're a little over that actually. We could possibly be there in less than the 6 minutes that we are currently slotted to do this. But it's more likely going to be about 8 or 9 minutes. That's a single yellow. Oh my goodness. Not enough warning for a single yellow signal. I managed to bring the speed down all the way here, so we should be able to cruise on towards that red signal now without a problem. But I think we are a little early. If we're getting a red, there's something that hasn't moved yet, most likely. That's still a red? That is still a red. As we cross something here. Oh, just whatever. This is something I like to refer to as a mild annoyance. Let's see what happens if I try to tab here. Nope, denied. There's something there. There is something there. Maybe our speed limit for this drive was supposed to be 60. I think my speeding at the earlier location at Thirsk might have had a contribution towards the fact that we were here early. This is one of those keep them honest signals. This means I now need to see what's going on up ahead. I'll keep this lovely 50 right here outside the window to remind me what speed I'm supposed to be going. There it is. Lovely. All in one view, just like that. And you can see me kind of hanging out there as well. Anyway, yeah. I think that's a broken window look. Any case, yeah, there's our lovely label on the train now. The Freightliner label is there. I think we found the source for the congestion. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Racing Bogies. That is a group of bogies going by. I don't know what train that's supposed to be, but suffice to say the train did not fully load. I think that was a Class 166. They've been known to have that problem. That's a Newcastle to Manchester airport service. And there's our green, just like that. So we're going to go ahead and zoom back out, and off we go. So we are being transitioned off the slow line simply because we are avoiding York. So we have to get off this line. Oh, what's our speed limit, by the way? Thank you very much. So we're going to be taking this 50. We are a little over 3 miles away from the York Avoider. So I don't believe the fact that we're joining the fast line at this point is the reason for the indication on the right indication there. I think that's meant for the next junction up ahead where the line continues. So we are going to have a track somewhere up ahead where we are going to move to the right before the next signal. When we get to that point, well, actually, that's a 75 on the track. Never mind. So it looks like 75 is going to remain our speed limit, even through this junction change, I guess. Here's our junction change. And the 50 shows up now on this junction change. It's a double junction change because the track we were on, of course, was the line, I think, in the other direction. So we had to go through two lines there to make our full transition over. And we're now clear to go up to 75 miles per hour on this line. I've gone ahead and maxed out the throttle again. You're going to tell me there's a signal up ahead now, aren't you? Okay, that flashing yellow cannot be my signal, can it? That cannot be my signal. I just got an alert to a signal on the other line, ladies and gentlemen. That's a little awkward. Are the signals planned for the wrong lines here or something? What's going on here? I'm being given a notification for... Now it's my flashing yellow. Apparently there was a double flashing yellow that was not working for me, because now I have a single flashing yellow. So I think it was a malfunctioning signal, but the alert did say go ahead. With the, it was a buzz, but basically it was saying go ahead. We just didn't know. Interesting that flashing yellow back on the other track is now turned into a double yellow in that spot. That is very mysterious. We have not received an AWS alert to this green signal that we now have. I don't know what we're doing anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being completely honest, and now we're speeding, so apparently there's a junction up ahead that we have to take, and I didn't know. Or 30 is just the limit for the area, and I didn't realize it. With malfunctioning signals, you can't really fault me for not seeing that. But as you can see, we got moved down to the two main lines in the middle here. So we are now on one of the two main lines through the yard. I'm curious if our speed is going to go up as we continue along here. Whatever's happening, we have a green signal. I shouldn't really be worrying too much about adding speed because our stop point is straight ahead. So we might get a yellow at the next signal because the signal at the end of York Avoider might be red. So keeping that in mind, I better bring the speed down. There go the other main lines heading off to the York area. So that's to and from York. I just realized my headlights have not been on this entire journey. Those of you who were observant noticed that they weren't up in the up in the upper right corner. Congratulations! Scratch that off your bingo card. Won't be the first time I do it. I should say it won't be the last time. It wasn't the first time. There's more Freightliner HHAs over there. We are within a quarter of a mile of our stop. We're getting a AWS thing, I think. No, that was for the other direction. Never mind. So a little bit of brake power here. And remove, so we're coming in a little slower. Let's put a little more brakes on. And I think that's York Station over there. Ah, platforms. Glorious platforms. There's York. I'm just gonna... Oh, there's the driver right there. Let's park him outside the window. That'll be the nice thing to do here. Park right next to him. Park right there. He's right next to us. Let's look at our train. York has been successfully avoided, and our fellow driver is here to take over from us. Happy trails to you, good sir. That's the end of the HHA pack of scenarios that were originally available from Armstrong Powerhouse. I hope you enjoyed them. We're going to come back on Friday this coming weekend with more activity. Well done. Another driver will now take over for the trip to Drax Power Station. What are we going to do on the weekend? I don't know yet. We'll find out. I have a couple days to at least think about this time and hopefully try and get ahead on things this time. So hopefully everything works out for me that I can do that. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. I am Cyclone. Bye-bye.